Bruchim haboim b'shem Hashem. What a great schus it is that throughout the entire world, on virtually every continent, we are all united learning the Torah of the Heilige Zera Shimshon. Our shir is dedicated for a schus and a refuah shalema for Leah Bas Pasya, Yashar David ben Chanina, Miriam Devara Bas Esther, Rabbanit Semisimcha Bat Miriam, any of the chayalim that might be in need of a refuah shalema min hashamayim, and all of the hostages, Yehi Ratzon, that they all return home safe and sound. Tekaf umiyad. B'suros tovos for Sora Edel Bas Elisheva Miriam. We learn in the Parshat, V'chol yisas echotzer nechoshes. We learn at the end of last week's Parsha that all the pegs of the courtyard were to be made of copper. This week's Parsha begins with V'atot Tetzaveh b'nei Yisrael, you shall command b'nei Yisrael. The Zera Shimshon asks, what is the connection between the fact that the pegs of the courtyard were made of nechoshes in the beginning of this week's Parsha? The Zera Shimshon explains that there are three mitzvahs that Moshe Rabbeinu had difficulty in understanding. One, the ner, the menorah, figuring out exactly how that was to be modeled. The second, chodesh, the cycle of the new moon. And the third, shkalim, the half shekel that Bnei Yisrael were to give for their counting. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't understand why it was a machzis shekel that Bnei Yisrael gave and not a whole shekel. The Zera Shimshon asks, there were so many mitzvahs that Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to do, many of them very complex. What was it about these three ostensibly simple mitzvahs that Moshe Rabbeinu could not understand? The Zera Shimshon explains that each one of these particular mitzvahs symbolizes the galus, the difficult challenges that Bnei Yisrael would encounter. Moshe Rabbeinu thought that he was the one that would bring Bnei Yisrael into Eretz Yisrael, and there wouldn't be any more galus, nor would there be any difficulties and challenges in the times ahead. So he couldn't understand the purpose of these mitzvahs. The Zera Shimshon describes the cycle of the moon. When it becomes smaller, it represents galus, the difficult times for Bnei Yisrael. And then it gets larger, representing the times of redemption and geula, when it's good for Klal Yisrael. Since Moshe Rabbeinu thought that he was entering Eretz Yisrael, and Bnei Yisrael would not go into galus again, he couldn't understand the cycle of the moon. Recently, a young man came over to me and wanted to relate what had happened during Kiddush Levana. He said I was out of my neighborhood and I was saying Kiddush Levana in a courtyard of a shul that I never was at before. I had always wondered, what is the reason that we say Shalom Aleichem to three different people in the middle of Kiddush Levana? It's not like at that point we're looking to greet people or we say Shalom Aleichem to everyone we know. So what's the reason? As I was saying Kiddush Levana, I came to the point where you're supposed to say Shalom Aleichem. I looked around and there was only one person standing there. I went over to him and I said Shalom Aleichem. The man broke into a huge smile. It happens that he and I had a little bit of a disagreement, and for the past year, we didn't talk to each other. The Shalom Aleichem of Kiddush Levana brought us together, and we are friends once more. Be'ezer Hashem Yisparach, we will be continuing with our shir in the Zera Shimshon. I wish everyone may kedeliba, b'suros tavos, yeshuos, v'nechamos.